Hi, guys. Welcome to Parawomenradio. I'm Amy. Matricide is the heinous act of taking the life of one's own mother. In light of the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case, it is crucial that we address these dark and disturbing topics. If it is not sufficient for us to simply discuss is she or isn't she pregnant, or her turmoil driven relationship with Ken Urker, matricide, the deliberate act of ending one's own mother's life. This defines Gypsy Rose Blanchard, not the carefully planted lie of Munchausen syndrome by proxy that was planted by ignorant Blanchard and her nasty team. This distinction is essential for everyone to recognize, which is why I feel compelled to further shed light on her story. Tonight, we will delve into the topics of parricide, patricide, and matricide. While it may be premature to have concrete data on whether Gypsy Rose's influence is appealing to teens and young adults just yet, I have found troubling accounts in doing my research that suggest a concerning trend is emerging. I know these are all bone chilling topics to cover, and we can all thank Gypsy Rose Blanchard for the chilling rabbit hole we are about to go down tonight. Thanks, Gypsy Rose Blanchard. So join me as we explore these chilling acts and their potential impact on society on tonight's episode of Parawomenradio. Shout out to my dragonflies and my power replay crew. Hey, guess what? Only 43 days left to get your tricks and or your treats ready for the kiddies on Halloween. Which will you be giving out this year? I'm still undecided.
I don't think the rain can wash this away. This wound is too deep to heal now. But don't worry about me, I'll paint on my smile. This world is too shallow to drown me.
I was covering the Carly Gregg case, who was the 14-year-old that committed matricide and attempted to do the same patricide. Actually attempted to do patricide on her stepfather, but she missed him. And I was actually covering this case when this all happened. And so I missed the trial today, but I think I will get back to it. But it made me think, like, is this happening more and more? And it seems to be happening. While I was doing the research on the case, let me see, make sure you can see. Okay, you can see. Okay, so you can see that I typed in the Google taskbar, will matricide be on the rise thanks to Gypsy Rose Blanchard? And I thought it was so interesting because what was coming up was these articles, and they're all under, different, they're at different websites, but they're the same article over and over again. So this tells me that Gypsy Rose Blanchard team is making it so that when you Google these types of things, what pops up is something very similar to this, where it'll be like Gypsy Rose Blanchard. It's her narrative. It's her getting her narrative out. It makes it seem like they're going into like a deep dive of her, but it's just her narrative over and over again. So this is just more things, more false information that Gypsy Rose is putting out there, and it infuriates me. It absolutely infuriates me. And I don't know if like they're paying these sites to put it up there, but it's the same article. It has a table of contents. It has the background, early life, Dee Dee Blanchard, Munchausen syndrome by proxy. And then, at the end, it wraps it up with conclusion that this was tragic. Poor Gypsy Rose, thank God she got out of there type deal. But it's just over and over again. The same article over and over again at different sites. And they're giving themselves ratings. Like they're even taking the time to rate these articles so that they rate high up there. I shouldn't be like shocked or anything like that or outraged, but she just never ceases to shock and outrage me. So I don't get it. Does anyone else get it? I mean, I'm sure I get it. But I get it. We get it, right? We know. But so many of those, like, it's buried. If the only reason mine came up at the top was because it was pretty much the same exact, title. So mine came up, rose to the top. But yeah, it's disgusting. All right, so let me get off my outrage. Oh, thank you so much, main chick Carrie. Your support means everything to me, and I'm really, really grateful. So thank you. And thank you for all your kind comments. I just really can't read them about Maybelline. And I just, I'm kind of like, I'll read them afterwards, but I can't read them during the show, or, it won't be good for me. So, okay, but they're really appreciated. Let's get started, and let's start off with me making sure you can see what I'm showing you. Okay. So we're going to start out with parricide. And parricide refers to the deliberate unaliving of one's own father and mother, spouse, husband or wife, children, and or close relative. However, the term is sometimes used more generally to refer to the intentional unaliving of a near relative. It's an umbrella term that can be used to refer to acts of matricide and patricide. So we're not going to really get into too much of the parricide, but that's what that is. And we're going to move along, and we're going to go into the explanation of parricide and why kids unalive their parents. Parricide is defined as the unaliving of a parent, mother, or father, or a relative. Guys, also, I will often not read everything and or not show you everything, or speed it up or talk over it, or something like that. And I do that for fair play use. But I always put everything we view during our lives in the description. So if you ever want to go read anything in its entirety or watch anything, it'll be down there. I like to cite my sources, and I also like to, it's for the other creators. I know I don't need to do all of it, but I think it's the right thing to do. And so I do it. It's a lot of work actually afterwards. Well, not a lot, but you know what I mean. But I think it's important, and so you can always find everything in the description from my shows. Some people confuse parricide with patricide, but the latter term refers only to the unaliving of one's father. Additionally, matricide refers to unaliving one's mother. Fratricide refers to unaliving one's brother, and sororicide refers to unaliving one's sister. According to a 2019 study, parricide is the rarest type of murder. The FBI said in 2017 that parricide accounts for about 2% of all, I don't know if I'm going to get nailed for saying homicide, but homicide cases. In 2017, there were a total of 15,129 murder victims in the United States. Among those victims, 169 were mothers and 186 were fathers who were unalived by their children. Parricide is also predominantly committed by adult, middle-class, white males without any history of prior criminal acts. I think this is important to note because it's predominantly committed by adult, middle-class, white males without any history of prior criminal acts. But tonight, I'm going to share with you, I think we've got 4 teens that did it recently. So maybe that's changing. And again, like I said, we don't have the data yet. We can only go by what we're seeing. And additionally, parricide offenders are usually younger than the age of 30, but over the age of 18. And there is usually some history of mental illness. However, adolescent parent unalivers usually do not have a history of mental illness. Let me say that again. However, adolescent parent unalivers usually do not have a history of mental illness. And this is what Gypsy Rose is. She committed matricide. It's not that Dee Dee Blanchard had Munchausen syndrome by proxy. It's that Gypsy Rose Blanchard committed matricide. I wonder like how hard she's going to try to get this video shut down. We should like maybe do a poll. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to speak that negativity onto this. My show is completely on the up and up, and nothing will happen. Motivation for parricide among adolescents is typically long-term abuse by parents. Also, I feel that Dee Dee Blanchard did abuse Gypsy Rose long term. Sleeping with your daughter in the same bed, like for years on end, is abuse. Shaving your daughter's head at a crucial age in her life to get trips and whatnot is abuse. So, but I always say not unaliving abuse. Also, difficult relationships between parents and the offender are common precursor of parricide. A study in 2008 showed that daughters are more likely than sons to murder biological mothers and stepfathers. There are 3 types of parricide offenders: severely abused, mentally ill, and dangerously antisocial. Dangerously antisocial individuals also unalive their parents because they see them as an obstacle to a goal or desire. Some of the most famous parricide cases in history include Lizzie Borden, Charles Whitman, Ronald DeFeo, Lyle and Eric Menendez, Sarah Johnson, Stacy Leonard, and Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Let me see what you guys are saying. Let me hop down into chat really quick. Hi, Andrea. Well then, she's got a lot more to try to take down. Everyone is coming for her in full force tonight. Maybe Gypsy wanted to sleep with Dee Dee. Perhaps. I think if you asked her, and I don't think she would say she did, but maybe. Yes. Thank you, Giselle. Please make sure to give this live a thumbs up and check to see if you're subscribed. If you're not, just subscribe. It won't hurt you. And if you don't like me, you can always unsubscribe. It's that easy. It's a click of the button. Love you, little sis, at Chris, Jetica, and Anna. Malingering. Yes, malingering happened as well. Oh, you already got your Z crown, Giselle. That was fast. Okay, let's move on to our next one. And we're going to look at patricide, or paternal. I'm not going to say the HOMICIDE word because I just have a feeling that that is not allowed on YouTube, but I don't know for sure if it is or it isn't. It just feels like it's not going to be. Is the act of unaliving one's own father. The word patricide derives from the Latin word pater, father, and the suffix cutter or unaliver. Patricide is a subform of parricide, which is defined as an act of unaliving a close relative. In many cultures and religions, patricide was considered one of the worst sins. For example, according to Cicero in the Roman Republic, it was the only crime for which the civilian could be sentenced to unaliving. So now we have patricide, and okay, I just want to make sure. Here is something from The Guardian. You had better be careful in your bed tonight. Shock rises in woman unalived by their sons. Violence by children against parents and grandparents is Britain's hidden abuse, often misunderstood or ignored until too late. Pioneering research aims to bring it into the opening. Jan, 51, has 6 children. They range from a 7-year-old who is autistic to the 2 eldest, a girl and a boy of 19. 5 years ago, the 19-year-old began to be extremely verbally and physically aggressive towards his mother. Periodically, he would punch me, and he has stolen money from me. He's grabbed me around the neck. He's held a knife to me and said, "I'd like to end you." He calls me scum. None of it normal in our family. Over the past year, the 14-year-old has begun copying her brother after their mother threatened to inform the public when she started engaging in potentially criminal behavior. She said she doesn't trust me anymore. The girl refuses to have counseling or see social workers, while Jane, who is on antidepressants, feels so threatened that she retreats to her bedroom to avoid the attacks. I used to have rules and regulations in the house. Now it's chaos. As a parent, I don't want to have my children arrested. Social services doesn't want to hear or see anything about child to parent violence. It's taboo. I'm told it's my fault, but what if I end up in the hospital or dead? My children have to live with that for the rest of their lives. Child to parent and grandparents violence is a gendered crime. Victims are more likely to be female and the perpetrators male. Some research have been conducted on violence and abuse inflicted mainly by sons aged under 18, but assaults, coercive control, and unalivings by older children is an area that is scandalously under investigated. The red flags that warn risk is escalating are too often disregarded by police, social workers, and GPS. I mean, if you could think about back at Gypsy Rose, I mean, there were definite warning signs. I mean, the fact that Dee Dee all of a sudden got shot by a BB gun at Walmart, and Walmart has closed circuit surveillance, and it just seems like, yeah. So, I mean, there's red flags in the Gypsy Rose story. I mean, what am I saying? There's bombs. There's bombs in the Gypsy Rose story. In one case of matricide, the son's medical notes said no female member or of staff should. Hold on a second. I got a cough. Sorry, it's all the crying. It's making me a little bit stuffy. Sorry about that. The son's medical note said no female member of staff should be alone with him because he was known to be dangerous to women. Nobody questioned whether he should be living at home with his mother. Support is so minimal, one professional describes it as a lolly stick moving an iceberg. The female census, co-founded by Claire O'Callahan and Karen Ingela Smith, records the unaliving of every woman unalived by a man in England and Wales. The number of women unalived by sons has shown a steady and alarming rise since 2016 after decades of remaining stable. And isn't that interesting? After 2016, when was the Gypsy Rose unaliving? Was it 2015? So it's 2015. And I just think that it's sending a direct message that this is okay. In fact, this is good. You can become a millionaire, just like Gypsy Rose Blanchard. She's wanting to be a influencer. What is she going to influence on how to plot and plan all of this? I lost my place. The number of women unalived by sons has shown a steady and alarming rise after decades of remaining stable. 2016, there's a rise. The number of grandmothers unalived by grandsons has also risen. While younger women are more. Is everything okay? Stable. After decades of remaining stable. Hold on. I just want to make sure everything's okay. I think I got a text. Okay. I don't know what's happening. Okay. While the number of grandmothers unalived by grandsons has also risen, while younger women are more at risk of being unalived by a partner or ex-partner, it is women in the 60s and older who are at risk from their older sons and grandsons. In the census's 10-year report, 2009 to 2018, 109.8% of the total of 1,435 women unalived by men were, this is in the UK, by men were mothers unalived by sons, while 11 grandmothers were unalived by grandsons over the decade. So we can tell that it's going up, and the latest Femicide census status shared exclusively with the Observer. They're campaigning to end this femicide. In 2020, the figure for matricide is 15%, 14 unalivings of mothers and 5 of grandmothers in a single year, with 28 cases in which the relationship is not yet known. So it's all on the rise, as we can see, and it's alarming. It's terrifying to me, actually. In the last article, they did mention femicide, and I just wanted to include this really quick. The silent epidemic of femicide in the United States. Last summer, New Yorkers were rattled by the devastating senseless unaliving of Aziza Johnson, a 20-year-old victim of domestic violence who was pew-pewed while walking her 3-month-old baby on the Upper East Side. Femicide is prevalent in the U.S. and the United States. Femicide, the gender-based unaliving of women, is often thought of an issue afflicting low-income countries. This could not be further from the truth. Of all femicide cases in high-income countries, 70% occur in the U.S. To put that into perspective on a global scale, the U.S. ranks 34th for international female violent unalivings at a rate of 2.6 unalivings per 100,000 women. Just wanted to throw those stats out for you guys. If you think, and by guys, I don't mean guys, I mean like everybody. I have this thing where I say guys, and I had somebody say to me that I shouldn't say guys anymore because what kind of feminist am I if I address everybody as guys? But, it's hard. Like, it's my whole thing. I say, hi, guys. Hi, guys. Welcome to Parawomenradio. I'm Amy. So, how do you stop saying hi, guys? And why do I really have to? Do I really have to cut that word out too? I don't want to. I don't know. Let me come. We're going to move on to Matricide next, but I want to come into chat and see what you guys are saying so far about all of this. Make sure I haven't lost everybody, not boring everybody. I say hi, guys, all the time. We are all guys. Sizzle, sorry to hear that. She can't handle criticism. Don't know what you're talking about. I think you're talking about that Gypsy Rose can't handle criticism. Oh, I never thought about that. I'll try. Oh, I don't know. Sizzle says, I'm running an errand, but I'm listening. Okay. You're so mad at her entitlement. I amen to that. I just am so sick of her. Oh, you got disabled for 24 hours because of her? Yeah, it's getting worse. It's getting really bad. And I don't know the answer to it. I think the answer is just to keep doing it. Just keep doing it. What a horrible life she must be living. I don't care if she has $3 million to have to do this all day long, all day, every day, all day long is just, and to live your life in constant turmoil. I just couldn't. I just could not. So, okay, so let's get back. Let's go and move on to Matricide, the star of the show, the matricider herself. Is matricider a word? I don't even know, but I'm going to start calling Gypsy Rose the queen of matriciders. Because she earned that crown. She is Queen Matricide. So let me make sure you're seeing what I'm seeing. You are. Okay. So matricide or maternal unaliving someone is the act of unaliving one's own mother. So I've said it over and over again. So we've gone into what matricide is, and I think you're pretty aware what it is, the act of unaliving one's own mother, but the psychology behind it. And after I finish up with this one, we're going to go into the cases that we're going to talk about tonight. I also wanted to do a little poll. I am really considering talking about the Soto case because it's in Florida and I'm in Florida and I like to cover Florida cases. Do I have a lot of people that are following Maddie Jennifer Soto case? I have to be honest, I haven't been watching it fully. And I would be really new to it. So it would be somebody with fresh eyes coming onto it, looking at it. And I just want to know if it's anything you guys would be interested in. Because if you're not, then I don't want to like do that. But I'm going to throw up a quick poll and then I will let you know. I always forget to check my polls at the end of the live. So if you guys think about it and I haven't checked it, will you remind me? Can you guys be my little reminders? Because I forget to do my polls at the end of it. So, okay. So getting back to here, the psychology behind matricide. Matricide is the unaliving of a mother by her biological child. It is one of the rarest of reported murders, and it is noted in R. Canesty, R. Roca, R. Candela, and F. Carabelsi's Matricide by mentally disordered sons gaining a criminological. That's a new criminological. That's a new word for me. I would have said gaining a criminological. Yep, that's right. Understanding beyond mental illness, descriptive study has always been considered one of the most abhorrent crimes. And I agree. The matricidal theme has its roots in Greek mythology. According to Greek mythology, Prince Orestes avenged the mother of his father, King Agamemnon I'm not going to say that word, by unaliving his own mother, Clemistra. You know what? I am so bad with words. I'm sorry, I butchered that. The Roman Emperor Nero, who ruled Rome between 55 AD and 68 AD, or is it AD 55 and AD 68, ordered the murder of his mother, Julia Augusta Agrippa. I know that word from Rome, watching Rome. Over the years, a number of matricides have been reported by Sri Lanka, but this has not been discussed in great detail by mental health professionals. I think this is from Canada, this article. Recently, an 18-year-old son unalived his 39-year-old mother after a quarrel over RS 15,000. What is that? Is that a video game or something? This event shocked the nation and was marked among the more horrible crimes committed. Specific psychodynamic and environmental factors can be identified in this unaliving. Although the self-affirmation motive was associated, the son's criminal act leaves behind some unanswered questions. But this is not matricide. This is patricide. Let me skip forward. Some view matricide as a crime against nature. D.G. Dutton and S. Yemeni adolescent parricide, an integration of the social. Oh, I might want to read this. Adolescent parricide, an interrogation of the social cognitive theory and clinical views of projective, introjective, unconscious defense mechanism in which one incorporates characteristics of another person or object into one's own psyche. Oh gosh, I feel like I'm back in college again. Cycling stated that case histories of parricide by adolescents frequently reveal a history of abuse on the part of the victim and acute depression and ideation of unaliving themselves by the adolescent. There are a number of theories, such as the psychoanalytic theory, the family systems theory, and the cognitive behaviorism, which explains matricide. According to psychodynamic interpretations, the murderous impulse to unalive a parent might have Oedipal origins, as mentioned in R.L. Sandoff's clinical observation on parricide, a defense against hostility, or in incestuous desires, as mentioned in S.G. West and M. Fieldhauser's book. According to the family system theory, the primary cause of matricide is attributed to an abusive and pathological family structure. These families often have a conflict-oriented style of problem solving. I would say that there was a conflict problem solving in the Gypsy Rose case for sure. Based on this theory, offenders experience chronic hatred for the parent victim. West and Feldscher mentioned that American psychiatrist Dr. Frederick Wortham described sons who unalive their mothers in terms of the Orestes complex, which refers to ambivalent feelings towards the mother that ultimately manifests in rage. According to F. Wortham's Dark Legend, a study in Schmurder, matricide represents the unconscious hatred for his mother's superimposed, this is on sexual desire, but this is on a son. I think, like, with Gypsy, it was more the mother not letting her mature into a sexual being. It's more like that.
There is the moon hanging low. I see that wonderful orange glow smiling at me straight through the rain. That old comfort I know keeps calling. Wish that the night would swallow this day, and the clouds wouldn't steal the moon from me. But the rain starts to fall,